Well, we talked earlier about the sudden decision by Coach Bo Ryan to coach the Badgers for just one more year. Well, joining us now is Jim Rutledge from ESPN Madison. Good to see you again. Thanks for being with us. Were you surprised yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, there was a surprise just because it happened kind of abruptly, but not a surprise. I mean, we kind of all assumed that Bo was near the end, but at the same time, when you hear it happen, and there was rumors out there that it might happen, and then the idea that those weird, unsubstantiated rumors became true, that was a bit strange to see. But on the whole, once you process it, not totally surprising because he is getting up there in age.
It had to happen eventually, right?
Yeah, and I mean, he's got a big family, he's got grandkids, he's got plenty of other things besides basketball to enjoy, and I think he's doing this one more season, this swan song, more to help the program than anything else.
It's up for him to do a victory lap. He's not that kind of guy.
No, I think he'll find that uncomfortable. I mean, we've seen that in the past with Gene Katie and a few other coaches. Jim Boeheim in Syracuse, I think it's on a 2-year victory lap. But I think it's one of those things where Bo, as he talked about, he wanted to step aside maybe at the end of last season. Barry Alvarez told him to think about it, and I think Bo thought one more year and maybe set Greg Gard up to take over, but also give Wisconsin some options.
Let's talk about Greg Gard. We had a story from Leah Lynchite earlier. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, I compared him to Paul Chryst. Let's say Brett Bielema, the Badgers knew Brett Bielema was leaving. It'd be the equivalent of just hiring Paul Chryst without any head coaching experience when Brett left. Now, you know, obviously Paul was at Pitt and they didn't do that, but, you know, Greg Gard, highly regarded, a great X's and O's coach, the lead recruiter on most of their top players, and he's a guy that I think a lot of former players believe in, a lot of the recruits believe in, and he is the easiest path. And the only real concern about him is he hasn't been a head coach. But, I mean, you got to learn sometime. It's just Wisconsin's a top 10 program, and so there's probably a little bit of concern with that.
He's had quite a teacher.
Yeah, and and he's worked with Bo Ryan for over 20 years. So, I mean, you're not going to see any changes. I would expect, you know, large changes in philosophy if Greg Gard takes over. The type of kids that are recruited at Wisconsin, that would stay the same. The type of program that's run here, the clean program, the offense that they run, the defense, all that would probably stay pretty similar.
Any other names out there rise to the top?
Yeah, I mean, Tony Bennett's going to be the #1 name you're going to hear, the son of Dick Bennett. Obviously, was an assistant under Dick and Bo at the University of Wisconsin. That's going to be the #1 name. He's doing a great job at Virginia. He would understand what it takes to win at Wisconsin. And then I'm guessing probably Shaka Smart, even though he took a new job at Texas. He's an Oregon, Wisconsin native. I think a lot of people like the excitement and youth he'd bring to the program. But I think those are probably the only 2 legitimate names you're going to hear. Maybe Rob Jeter with Milwaukee, but he hasn't had a ton of success there, and he's a former UW coach as well.
Whoever it is, those are some shoes to fill. What a career.
Yeah, an amazing career. I mean, one of the greatest coaches in, you know, the University of Wisconsin history, forget basketball, just of all time. And a guy who, you know, could have been here a long time ago, finally earned his opportunity when you count for Platteville and Milwaukee and Wisconsin. One of the greatest coaches in the University of Wisconsin system.
It's going to be fun to watch the last year.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Jim, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate your time. And we'll be right back.